Hello, everybody. Hello, my stars. I certainly hope everyone is doing well. I haven't done a live stream in a long time, but this live stream is going to be fairly short. Now, for some of you who have been with me for a long time, you know I can become a little long-winded, right? So the live streams, I think the longest live stream I've done is about 4 hours. So I promise you, we're not going to do 4 hours this morning. But what I really want to talk to you all about, well, first of all, my stars, thank you guys and gals so much for helping our community to grow. Our star family is continuing to grow thanks to you all. And if you have recently subscribed, welcome to the Luminous Star family. Now, in today's live stream, what I want to talk about, or actually on today's live stream, I want to talk about what sets us up for repeatedly investing in those narcissistic codependent relationships. So again, I'm just going to go over a few things with you. And at the end of the live stream, I'm going to try to take a little time to answer some of your questions, okay? But this morning, it's a little early for me. So I just thought before I get started with the rest of my day, I will take just a little bit of time out with you all. So I'm going to go ahead and see who's in the chat before going further into the live stream. Hi, Ellie. Oh, wow. Ellie has been with me for a long time. Mwah. Thank you so much. Ooh, Ellie, I may be asking you to be one of my moderators. So just let me know how what you feel about that, what you think about that, because if I'm going to be doing more live streams, I think I'm going to need some moderators, right? Hi, Harriet. Oh, wow. Yeah. French roast. Yeah, but that's, Ellie, is really early for me this morning. And I just thought that since I had a free morning, I will go ahead and do a live stream. So glad you guys are joining me today. Hi, JB. Yeah, so you all have to kind of excuse, because usually I like to try to make up or dress up for the videos, but this morning, like I said, it's kind of early, and I just figured I'll just go ahead and wing it and just go for it, right? Because otherwise it will be 2019 and I wouldn't have a live stream in here, right? So this is why I just thought I would go ahead and do it this morning. So I don't know what kind of time schedules you all are on, and let me know if you all won't mind. If you don't mind, let me know what time zone you're in, or even if you're from another country or in another country. So this is how I can kind of schedule these live streams a little bit better. But hope you all can forgive me. Today's live stream was spontaneous. Let's see. Ellie Wynn says, love what you share. Such a creative, wise thinker and creator. Well, thank you so much. You are also very wonderful. And I'm pretty certain wherever you are, Ellie, you are making things happen in your life. I'm just so glad you've been with me for such a long time. And just to let you all know, my star family has been inspiring me to continue to thrive forward in my own life. So I know there were a couple of times that I was going to pull the plug on this channel. Thank goodness I didn't. And thank you guys and gals that I didn't. You all let me know that this channel was something that was really making a change in your life, or at least is one of those excellent resources for you to continue to thrive forward. So happy to hear that. Hi, Donna. Let's see, who else is on? Okay, so Donna is in New York. Okay, you're on the Eastern time, just like I am. I'm in Virginia. Let's see, who else is? Hi, Mona. Let's see. I think I put my slow-mo on. You all let me know. Well, it looks like it's going pretty slow. I didn't want the comments to go by too quickly. Ooh, Harriet is in the UK. Welcome from the UK. 12:50. Wow. Okay. Ellie says, so glad you kept this uh, channel. Yes, I'm glad too. Yeah, because at first I didn't really think that anyone would be interested in hearing a personal view on, narcissism, because I know we have some so-called experts out there, and this is great too. But I'm glad to know that people were more interested in hearing the personal side of that type of experience. Time for Trump. Good morning from Florida. Good morning. I see. So I have some Eastern coasters here, and one from UK, Philadelphia. Ellie, okay, Ellie Wynn. All right. Tara Edie. Hello, my dear. You have also been with me for a long time. I am so glad that I've helped you out as well. But just so you all know, again, you all have inspired me. Laura is in New York. All right. I have family in New York. I haven't been to New York ever, and I have family there. So I'm going to go ahead and slap my own wrist a little bit for that one. All right. Tara is Central Time Zone. Okay. Donna says, you make great videos. Thank you so much. Because sometimes I just, some of those videos, I tended to just, be very spontaneous. And sometimes I didn't always prepare for those videos. It's just, if something came to me, I just said, you know what, let me do a video on this. And if my camera was around, whether I was traveling or not, I would go ahead and just do the video. So I'm so glad that this is something that you all are enjoying and getting a lot out of. Because I know sometimes, some of those YouTube videos, and not speaking anything against other YouTube videos that speak on the topic that I speak on, but I know sometimes that we can kind of get caught up in watching, the videos, and this is something that helps. But on the other end of it, it's like we have to take a little time out for ourselves so we can actually see results in our own life. Let me rephrase that. So some of the tools that we apply to our life, if we're just looking at live streams and videos and we're plugged into the matrix in this way, we kind of miss out on our own life. We don't really get to see the results. We don't really get to see how much progress we're making. So it's great that we can use social media as a tool, but I think that we have to be mindful and make sure we don't use it as a crutch. So social media is something that I think would be an excellent tool, but not a great, crutch. So we try to, we don't want to do that. I know I don't do that. I do check out other videos, and I do check out a few YouTubers who talk about the same topic that I talk about. But I discovered for myself that one of the things that I have to do is be mindful of that. Just making sure that I use social media as a tool instead of a crutch. So, yes, please, everyone hit that like button if you're enjoying us. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, I'm still coming. Yeah, you're right, Ellie. I can still go to New York. Right now, I do travel up to DC. Now, I lived in Washington, D.C. for over a decade, so that's like my second home. And I love Northern Virginia, D.C., and Maryland area. It's just so hard to become bored there. There's a lot of things to do. And there were times that I had to push myself to get out just a little bit more and enjoy that area, because with anxiety, social anxiety can be you know what, it can kick your ass. It's like, you want to get out, you may get dressed and you want to go out, you intend to go out, but then, anxiety kicks in. It just kind of, say, no, set your ass down. You're not going anywhere today. So, sometimes that can happen. So, yeah, I'm still going to travel more. Just last week, I was in Northern Virginia and just, got around to see some of the places that I haven't been to in a long time. One of the things that I look for when I go to a place that I've never been to before are museums, theme parks, if there's a beach around. I love just seeing where a lot of people like to go. And then I would challenge myself to go out to those places. And if I became a little bit too uncomfortable, then I would still give myself a pat on the back and say, okay, you went there and you stayed there for like maybe 30 minutes or so. That's a breakthrough. So I love having breakthroughs instead of breakdowns. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just take baby steps. Sometimes we have to do that to love ourselves. So yeah, I do travel a little bit more now than I used to, but I love going to places that I've never been before. And I like to get out and enjoy the culture as well as finding out what the traditions are in a particular area. Laura says, I lived in Hampton, Virginia, and actually I used to live in the Virginia Beach area, the Tidewater area, but that was back in the early 90s, maybe mid 90s. And Newport News, I used to live there for a while, and I have family in that area also. So, hi, what is it? Queendom Nation. Okay, Queendom Nation. Hi, how are you? I love that name, by the way. Ellie Wynn says, even doing nothing, no muda, no usual routine even, can relate to social anxiety big time. I think a lot of us who have been dealing with narcissistic relationships can relate to that. This is often one of the results of that experience. Stacy Jackson, hello. Where are you from, Stacy? If I may ask, where are you from? What is your time zone? California, I've been out there. Southern California, Northern California. I've been to Sacramento a couple of times, and I actually like it. California is a different vibe than the East Coast. Now, I'm not trying to set up any West Coast, East Coast thing, but I noticed the vibe is quite different. And I'm happy to say that when I went out to California, I was embraced my first visit. So I loved it. Oh, okay, Los Angeles. Okay, Stacy. All right. Now, I haven't been to Los Angeles, but I've heard a few things about it. So, just what inspired you to do narcissist videos? Okay, Donna is asking what inspired me to do narcissism videos, and I appreciate the question, Donna. Just my personal experience with it, and not trying to sound like I'm being sarcastic. That's not my intention. When I started, my experience has taught me that I was having relationships with those with a cluster B personality type, such as a borderline personality, narcissistic personality, or a antisocial personality, as well as a histrionic personality. So I started learning more about narcissism when I discovered that I was having that experience. I didn't know anything really about narcissism or cluster B personality types until I started looking at the relationships that I was having that was so doggone painful, right? Okay, and I said, you know what? There are certain things that tended to repeat, which is what I'm going to be getting into today. Why was I repeating that pattern? Investing in relationships that were not healthy for me. And what I discovered that this started when I was in my childhood, during my childhood. This started then. Just certain patterns would repeat. For instance, my being the one that gave a little bit too much of myself in the relationship with people who may have, number one, not had the tools to have a positive relationship with me, or number two, they were unwilling to learn how to have positive relationships. So when I saw that pattern, when I did relationship inventory back in 2010, because I knew there was something that I needed to change, I was changing, I was transitioning. So that's what started my journey on learning more about narcissism. And then in 2016, something just said, do some videos. And so I just started doing the videos. I was like, okay, you know what? I think I need to go ahead and say something about this, because I started talking to other people that I already knew about. I didn't know they were having those dysfunctional relationships like I was having, right? I mean, I knew something, but I didn't know it was narcissistic abuse or narcissism. So I hope I answered your question, but that is what started my journey right there, because at first I didn't know that that's what I was dealing with. So how is that? Seashell 200. How are you? Oh my goodness. Welcome. Mwah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Is that Rush? Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Is that Raquel? Raquel Coca? Good morning, Star. Thank you so much for your videos from Nova Scotia, Canada. Is it? Yes. Well, welcome, Raquel. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Oh. You helped me so much. Well, I'm glad. It's people like you who inspire me to continue to do this channel and actually to continue to thrive forward. Because there are, I'm telling y'all, there are days that I feel a little down, but I try to fight against despondency. And I have a little routine. I have a backup plan. Like if I start to feel a little blue and I start to feel a little down, first of all, I try to pinpoint what sparks that. And usually it's when I start thinking about the relationships that didn't really work out in my past. So my backup plan, I'll share some of it with y'all. One of the things that I do is I start to remember some of my accomplishments and my achievements in life. Because see, this is one of the things that a lot of us do. And we don't, when we're dealing with narcissism, we don't give ourselves enough credit, but yet we tend to go out of our way to please our narcissist or the cluster personality types in our lives. We tend to go way out of the way for them, but we don't give ourselves enough credit. So when I start to do that, that's usually what sparks my gravitating towards thinking about the past and those relationships that really did not serve me very well. They didn't nourish me. They didn't help me to grow. They didn't get me to the next level, right? So I'm like, okay, why am I thinking about this? And then I found out that really some of those thoughts and some of those emotions actually did not belong to me. So I was claiming something. The second thing that I would look at is, okay, I'm claiming something that's not mine, and I'm claiming who I am not. I'm not a person who's supposed to be here on this planet to serve narcissists and cluster personality types who have no interest in investing in a relationship with me. Secondly, I'm claiming to be a person that I'm not. Okay, I'm claiming something that I'm not, right? Well, I'm claiming what's not mine. Okay, let me sip on this tea because I'm getting ready to get tongue-tied and getting ready to get brain fog. All right, let those brain juices flow in. So anyway, I started looking at what I was claiming, something that wasn't mine. What wasn't mine? What the narcissist and cluster personality chose to do in the relationship with me. Why was I claiming that? Why was I carrying the energy of that? because I needed to clear it. This is another thing that I'm going to be talking about today in the live stream. Now, I'm going to try not to go for 2 to 4 hours on this live stream. So y'all trying to get me to do that. But this is great. This is great. This is great. I love spending some time with you all. I'm going to have to check my time, though, because I only have this morning open. So around lunchtime, I got to get some things done. And so I'm going to try not to be on this live stream for no 4 hours today. Hi, Crystals. How are you? And I hope I did not butcher your name. Yeah, your videos are so concise. Raquel says your videos are so concise and full of vital information. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. And thank you so much for the compliment. All right. So I do have and you know, while we're on this live stream, I would like for you all to let me know if there are topics within the topic of narcissism that you would like for me to cover, if I haven't already. Now, I have nearly 1,000, yes, 1,000 videos on my channel. And I know some of you have been, looking at those, and I thank you for that. But sometimes, some of you are missing some of the videos that I'm putting out because the notification bell has not been selected. So those are 2 things I would like for you all to do for me today on this live stream, other than liking the live stream. Make sure you have selected the notification bell first. Okay. And secondly, if there are any topics that you want me to cover, please put them in the chat. Okay. So this way I can go over that before the live stream is over. And this will give me some ideas on what the next video will be. But Seashell 200 says, why do they try so hard to upset you and drag you back into the fold once your eyes are open? I feel so worried that I had such a person in my life for so many years without knowing what was happening. Yes. You know what I say to that, Seashell? Bird box in this bitch. Okay. I know you all seen that video, or you saw the clip to the movie or the Netflix show, Bird Box, and I just did a video about that. Bird Box was about a person. Well, I'm going to paraphrase it or kind of summarize it. Now, Bird Box, what I got out of that was people who had to watch what they were seeing. Okay, so it became very dangerous to see everything around him or her, because it caused them to change their minds, whereas they would destroy themselves. That's deep, right? So yeah, Bird Box, some of the scenes were kind of difficult for me to watch, but overall it was a great movie on Netflix. So not promoting, I'm not promoting, but I just mentioned Bird Box because that's kind of what it feels like to be in a narcissistic relationship. It's almost like you have to blindfold, or be very mindful of what you look at or what you're paying attention to in that relationship, because it can change your mind. Okay. It can have you feeling and thinking in ways that are against yourself. So, that's what I hope I didn't offend anybody when I say Bird Box up in this bitch. But yeah, it's Bird Box. Okay. You have to watch it. Yeah. So let's see. Eye off the tiger. Hello and welcome from Amsterdam. Wow, Amsterdam. Now I haven't been there. Okay, but wow, welcome. Raquel says, I'm so worried that I might not see red flags with the next relationship, even after going through this and knowing what my experience was. Yeah, and sometimes when we do relationship inventory and we're reflecting on relationships that didn't serve us, it's not about staying stuck there. It's about using your past as a reference guide. This is what's going to help you not to repeat that scenario of investing in relationships currently with narcissists and cluster B personality types. Now, what attracts them to you? Now, I'm going to get into that. I keep saying I'm going to get into it. Now, I have a slide presentation for you all, and I don't have the link to the slide presentation yet. So when I post later, I'm going to have the slide presentation link so you can pull it up and you can print it out later if you would like. All right. I don't know if you all can see my candles back here, but I thought I would light a couple of white candles for you on this live stream. Okay, so we can have a little Zen moment. And I certainly hope you all have your libations. And like I said, I'm going to try not to be very long on this live stream. All right. So I'm going to see if I can remember how to share the screen with you all, because I want you to at least see the, let's see, I have it here, the slide presentation. And if you all cannot see the slide presentation, please let me know. I'm going to pull it up in a minute. And also let me know if you can hear me and see me. Okay, I'm pretty certain you all can see me, but if you all cannot hear me, please let me know. Or if the volume is too low. Let me see something. I don't like when people try to say, oh, the volume is too low. No, it's not too low. All right, there you go. All right, let's see. So everybody can hear me, everybody can see me, right? All right. All right, okay. Let me go ahead and do the share. I think I have it on share, right? Share. All right. I think I have it. Okay, let me see if I can bring up my presentation. Okay, can everybody see the presentation? I'm gonna just, let me see something. Can you all see the presentation I just put up? Okay, the audio, Ellie Wynn says audio is good, but there is buffering here. Uh-oh. Ooh. Well, I'm not experiencing any buffering on my end. Seems like things are going smoothly. Okay, now I'm going to bring up the presentation in the chat room. Please let me know if you can see the presentation. Okay, it's a slide presentation here I have, and it's very short. It's about 5 slides, 4 or 5 slides. I'm going to go through it as quickly as possible. All right, let me go ahead and minimize. Okay, now are you all able to see it? Okay, y'all can't see it. All right, let me do something then. Bear with me really, really, really quickly. Okay, bear with me for a second, guys. Oh. Settings. Okay. Oh. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going to have to. Well, it is a short slide, so I will have it up again. When I post this live stream, I'll have the link to that slide presentation. So, okay, what I'm going to have to do then is go ahead and just go through it for you all. So it's just bear with me. I'll just go through those slide presentations, okay? All right. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see something. Ooh, nope, that didn't do it. All right, let me try something real quick. All right. Okay, it's not letting me do it. Okay. So I'm just going to go over the slide presentation and the information in it. And at the end of the live stream, when I post up this live stream, just go to the description box below and retrieve the link there. And it's going to be up under the heading of slide presentation, references, and resources. And on that note, I just want to remind everyone that on all of my videos, if you go down to the slide if you go down to the description box below, if you want a slide presentation, you can retrieve it there, but you can also see other references and resources. Now, the resources, there are at least a good 5 to 10 resources there for you, which can probably help you to get started today, because I know some of our circumstances are that we're not able to physically leave or go no contact from the relationship. Okay, so in every one of my videos, you will find, well, just about in all of them, you will find these resources. So try not to forget to go down to the description box below and just retrieve some of those resources. It may help you out. Okay, so I know some of those have helped me out. So before I get started with the presentation, I'm just going to go back to the chat room. And at the end of the live stream, I'm going to take some time out to answer questions. Okay. All right. That's okay. That's okay about the slide presentation. Just at the end of this live stream, when I post it up later, you will find the link to the slide presentation. But right now I'm going to be the only one that can see the slide presentation. Okay, so I'm just going to go over it with you all. But at the end of this live stream, I'm just going to take out a few minutes to answer any questions that you may have. Okay, so right now I'm not going to be looking at the chat room. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my slide presentation. Okay. All right. So what sets us up for repeating, okay, the situation, whereas we're in another narcissistic relationship? So what sets us up for that? Well, the first thing is when we don't learn, and again, this is not to offend anyone, but when we don't learn valuable lessons from a scenario that we're currently, going through, when we don't learn it, then more than likely we're going to repeat that scenario. So, we're creatures of habit. We gravitate towards that which is familiar to us, even though it may not be very healthy. So when we are, in a relationship with a narcissistic custody personality type, and we are not learning certain things that's going to help us to get to the next level, not to get us into another relationship with a narcissistic custody personality type, which tends to happen. And why does that happen? Because we're not learning the lessons in this current situation. Sometimes we get in our egos, we get in our feelings, right? Okay. So when we're not learning the valuable lessons, then we're going to repeat that scenario. All right. That's one of the things that I discovered in my own life. This is how come I was repeatedly investing in relationships that did not, serve me very well. Now, I have also had positive relationships. Okay. And currently my relationships tend to be more positive. Okay. But in the past, no, I was missing some things. So, this is what repeats us. This is what sets us up to repeat that particular pattern when we are not learning the valuable lessons. Okay, so usually when we learn those valuable lessons, we're less likely to repeat a particular scenario that is very painful. We learn, this is something amazing about us human beings that I find, and that is we tend to learn our most valuable lessons via pain. So when we go through it once or we go through it twice and we learn, we're good, right? We don't have to repeat that scenario. And guess what? We won't have the energy. We won't be embodying the energy that attracts the people to us. That's going to give us more than enough reason to be anxious. That's going to give us more than enough reason to feel sad. or to be in despondency, or be in that sunken place that I talk about so often in my videos, because we're not embodying that energy. Our spirits are not connected to our circumstances. Okay, our spirits are connected to our own body. Narcissists and cluster personality types, they often do not want us connected to our bodies, because that way we're more in control of what we think and what we feel. And when we're detached from ourselves, this is another way of saying that our spirits are not attached to our bodies. Now, we have energy. We're comprised of energy. Without energy, we wouldn't exist at all, right? We would be out of here. We need energy. But our spirits, okay, we have some control over that too. We get to pick the people, places, and things of which we want our spirits to be connected to. So often when we get into our egos and we get into our emotions and we're going through all of the things that are going on in the relationship, the narcissist is pulling shenanigans. Yet something else. If it ain't one thing, there's another, right? We tend to, sometimes what happens is we choose for our spirits to be attached or connected to the circumstances, not ourselves. I hope that makes sense, because when we're reactionary, that means we're not in control of what we think and what we feel at that moment. The narcissist is pushing buttons. They're pulling the strings. So our spirits, this is reflective of our spirits being connected to the circumstances, not our own body. We're not in tune with ourselves. We're not connected to ourselves fully. So that way we're grounded. When something starts popping off and something goes disarray, we're grounded. We're focused. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. We may slip a couple of times and become reactionary, but then we can snap right back and say, wait a minute, what's going on right now? The narcissist and cluster personality type, how are they pulling the strings? They're manipulative. Okay, and especially if they put a Svengali spin on it, right? That means we're spellbound. We're hypnotized. They have our minds. They're playing with our minds, and they're tugging on our heartstrings. So this is reflective of our spirits not being connected to our inner self or our higher self, but we're choosing that our spirits be connected to the circumstances. What are the circumstances? What I just mentioned, the narcissistic codependent relationship. It's hovering, it's lingering over your life. It seems to affect, if not infect, every area of your life. So we're choosing at that moment when the narcissist starts, talking in our ear, telling us how worthless we are, or all the insults, all the letdowns, being repeatedly let down, being repeatedly put down, weighs on the spirit. The spirit may want to take flight. So, our spirits are not connected to our bodies. We're not choosing to have it stay present. This is another way of saying staying present in the relationship, staying present in the moment. So this way you can control, or you can practice self-regulatory process, meaning to stay present, to soothe yourself, even though what's going on around you, whoever's going off, you're not overwhelmed. You can stay present. You can control what's going on. That takes practice. That takes time. Yeah, it's challenging to do, but this is one of the things that I practice. And some of my being in the military has taught me how to do that a little bit too. Just in case you all don't know, I'm a military veteran as well. I don't think I've mentioned that a lot, but this is one of the things that I was learning about, that I learned about in the military. And that is to, when chaos is going on around you, you're able to stay present and be able to focus on what you need to do to survive. Okay, so we have to survive before we thrive. But I don't want to get too off track. I don't want to get off, because sometimes I can be a little wordy. But when we are choosing to have our spirits connect onto the circumstance instead of being present within our own body, in other words, staying within our bodies. So the narcissist, at that time, he or she will completely take control, because we're reactionary, and that's reflective of them being in control, and we're not in control of our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. Your emotion, your feelings, your thoughts, all of this stuff, it has to move. This is energy. We're comprised of energy. Energy must move. If energy does not move, it becomes stagnant. Stagnated energy reflects being in a sunken place. Stagnated energy reflects being boxed in. Okay, you're off your square, but you're in the narcissist square. You're boxed in. So they are able to pretty much pull shenanigans and push your buttons and pull the strings, and you're going off and you're feeling all these things and you're thinking all these thoughts, which by the way are not always your thoughts. That's another video. I'm not gonna get too deep into that. Your thoughts and your feelings while you're in that relationship with him or her are not always yours. This is another thing that I discovered that I did by claiming who I wasn't and what didn't belong to me. Okay, so I was claiming the thoughts and the feelings that were deriving from my experience. What was I experiencing? Okay, what was I experiencing? A narcissistic codependent relationship. How was that affecting me? So sometimes those thoughts and those feelings did not belong to me. This is where energy transference comes in. It's like you're swapping with your narcissist and custody personality type on an energetic, spiritual, even emotional level. Narcissists and custody personality types, they cannot emotionally regulate, but you can. Okay, they lack empathy. They're not interested in the connection. So when we choose for our spirits to be connected to our circumstances, the narcissistic codependent relationship is the circumstance. When we choose that, then we are then not connected to self. Our spirits, we're not choosing for our spirits to stay connected to self. This is just another way of saying we detach. So this sets us up to repeat the scenario of investing in narcissistic codependent relationships. Okay, so let me see. All right. And another thing I want to say about that is due to the energy transference, the energy that is accrued during the relationship is often flowing to the next relationship or to all of our relationships outside of the narcissistic codependent relationship. Okay, so those higher vibrational emotions such as joy, gratitude, love. See, you and I, we can feel that. Narcissists and custody personality types, they have to pretend to feel that. So they lack emotional regulation. They're not able to do this, but you can. So emotional discipline is going to be your friend at this time. That's when you choose to have your spirit connected to you, okay, your body, staying present. Of course, you have a soul. Of course, you have a spirit. Of course, you're comprised of energy. And of course, you're here. So I don't want to confuse anybody when I'm talking about the spirit being connected to the circumstances and not you. That's just another way of saying that you are choosing to detach from a body that hurts. Okay, being in that relationship hurts. It's painful. You want to escape. Now, this is something that we don't realize sometimes, and that is the narcissist is always looking to escape. They have various forms of escapism. They have it: drugs, alcohol, sex, food, gambling, workaholics. We all can kind of slip into that sometimes. But one of the things that we're not mindful of in the heat of the moment, when all the chaos is going on, is that, wait a minute, the narcissists have a problem too. They want to escape all the time. Sometimes we don't even know that they are detaching. They have already detached. They are reenacting what they're running away from. All of those unresolved relationships, maybe from their past, all of those unresolved issues. I don't care if the unresolved issue is that they did not get that promotion at work last week. That's an unresolved issue. They want to escape. So sometimes we're not even conscious to how our narcissist and codependent personality type may be escaping by reenacting what they don't want to resolve or what they haven't resolved. Because when they resolve it, that means they have to take personal responsibility. And they're not trying to do that. How many of us know narcissists and codependent personality types that will, take responsibility for what they do, let alone think and or say and feel? They usually try to escape that. So when we are also attempting to escape, that's the opposite side of that spectrum. We are choosing to have our spirits connect to that circumstance instead of remaining connected to ourselves. In other words, staying present in our bodies as things go on. Our body has pain as well. This is very painful what's going on. Okay? So the narcissistic codependent relationships, they are designed to not only be very painful, but highly addictive. So this is what sets us up to repeat that scenario of having more narcissistic relationships. And when we hold on to the energy that was accrued, then we are in the vibration that we need to be on. The level of vibration is, again, let me put it like this. When we hold on to the energy of that relationship, of a narcissistic codependent relationship, we are then a vibrational match to other narcissists out there. We are a vibrational match. We have to be on that level. That means we're not connected to our higher self. We're choosing not to connect, to stay present. We are choosing to be connected to our circumstances. That leaves us vulnerable. That leaves us wide open for narcissists to continue to pull shenanigans in the current relationship. Some of us are dealing with several codependent personality types. From the job to the home front, you can't get away. You lack the contrast. And I'll get to that in a minute. How to look for the contrast. If you've seen it, in that movie, The Sixth Sense, the little boy says, I see ghosts everywhere. Where in our lives, we see narcissists everywhere. We see cluster personality types everywhere. Sure, they're out there on the planet. But when we see them all in our lives, we don't have the contrast. That's unhealthy. Okay, not saying you're unhealthy. That's unhealthy. That's reflective of an imbalance, a lack of harmony, a lack of peace. So in order to get peace, balance, and harmony, we have to look for the contrast. Because when we're on the job, cluster personality types are there. That's the reality. We can't control that. On the home front, narcissistic relationships going on there because we have cluster personality types in our lives as well. So therefore, it may seem like we don't have the contrast. We see cluster personality types everywhere. And we experience that because, again, we're comprised of energy. Behind every word and every thought and every action, but I'm going to concentrate on the actions and the words right now. Behind every word and every action is an energy. We're comprised of energy. So everything we do, everything we say, energy. So when we hold on to the energy that was accrued from a narcissistic codependent relationship, we are on the vibration that sets us up and make us prime for source supply. So here come the next narcissist. Okay, so asking critical questions can open one up to learn. So I was talking about that repeated scenario. If we don't learn, we're going to repeat the scenario. So in order to set yourself up and be open to learning the painful scenario you're in right now, so that way you don't end up, going on to another narcissistic relationship. You want to go up to the next level. You don't want to move on to the next relationship that's painful for you. You want to move up to the next level. So just think about it that way. Current relationship is very painful. So what's one of your goals? To move up to the next level. That's going to be nourishing to you. Okay? Instead of moving on to, all right? You see how I do this? I keep it even. The hand is even. Okay, it's on the same level. That means you're still a vibrational match. Just think of vibrations and levels, right? vibrational match, you're still moving on like a flat line. You're moving on to the next narcissistic relationship because you haven't learned from the current relationship. That's very painful. So instead of doing this, you want to do this. Okay? So instead of moving like a flat line, you want to move up to the next level. And how we can do that is by asking critical questions. Asking the critical question. My favorite critical question to ask is, what is the purpose of the narcissistic codependent relationship? What is the purpose of this relationship? What is the purpose of all of my narcissistic codependent relationships? Because a lot of us have more than one. What is the purpose? Translation. See, by asking that question, what I'm getting down to is what my intentions are, not anyone else's intention. It's good to know that too. But what are my intentions? What do I want to manifest by having this relationship? Children? Money? Material things? Okay. What do I want to manifest by having this relationship? When you answer that question, you're less likely to repeat the scenario of having another narcissistic codependent relationship. And guess what? You won't have the energy that will attract them to you. The energy that you have, some of us, let me put it like this, because I'm not trying to offend anyone, but some of us have the energy that will continue to attract these types of people because we haven't cleared that energy. We haven't released that energy. We haven't channeled our own energy that will help us move up to the next level. Okay, so we have to learn how to channel, and we have to learn how to utilize our own energy. We have to learn how to release energy that does not help us get to the next level. It doesn't nourish us. We're a flat line. What do they say? A flat line is death, right? So in order to move up to the next level, you got to start asking some critical questions. That's the change that we need. That's the chance that we take. Those are two things that's going to help you to start to see some real results in your life. Change and chance. Are you open to take chances? Are you willing to take chances? Are you open and willing right now to face that you are changing? You're transitioning. What is your transformation? That's what you want to pay attention to. I want to encourage everyone to pay attention to that today or tonight, wherever you may be. Because narcissists and cluster personality types, they want not only to draw from your energy, but they want your attention. They don't want you to so much pay them in money. With money, they want you to pay them attention. That's the ultimate for the narcissist and cluster personality type. Yeah, they usually have some money stashed away that they don't think we know about, right? So the money is not really the object here. It's the energy. They want your attention. So you're to pay them in attention, not money, not sex, not material things. They can get plenty of that. Narcissists and cluster personality types, they want their supply to stay plentiful. So they go through a lot of people in order, because they're addicted to people. So they go through a lot of people or various vendors just to get the making sure the narcissist supply never runs out, because that's one of their biggest fears. Another one of their fears is that you will wake up and start to critically think about what's going on in the relationship and ration your heart. Not become cold, not to become hard like them. No, just to ration your heart. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, so let me keep going with this. By seeking out a contrast, one can obtain peace of mind, balance, and harmony. This is like an intermission within circumstances that one cannot physically escape. Because I mentioned this before. Okay, so when you have that contrast, that means you have apples and you have oranges. What are those relationships that are fairly, what you would say is fairly healthy? Relationships come in all shapes and sizes, come by various ways. Okay, not just the relationships we have with our friends and family, right? But when, say for instance, you go out somewhere and you may occasionally meet someone and y'all have a great conversation. Every time you see this person, it's a great conversation. Guess what? That's a relationship. It may be sporadic. It may be a long distance relationship, but it's a relationship, right? The relationships are not the relationships that we have with our friends and family only, or those people that who are our lovers or, very close to us. No, people that we work with, that's a relationship. That's the type of relationship. Those are coworkers. Your supervisor, that's a relationship. Your boss, that's a relationship. Your business partner, that's a relationship. When you meet to play chess with somebody once a month or less than that, that's a relationship. So think about the relationships that are pretty good. I'm pretty certain you can come up with at least one or two. The relationship with your pets, that's a relationship. I don't care if you have some goldfish or, exotic fish or whatever the case is, you have relationships right now. I'm pretty certain. Even if you live alone, you have relationships. Just think about those relationships that are positive. So those are your oranges. You get a lot of juice from the oranges. It's very nourishing. The rotten apples, those are the relationships. Those are the relationships with cluster B personality types and narcissists. Unfortunately, some of these are our family members. Those relationships are not very good. Those are the rotten apples. So there's your contrast. Okay, you're able to compare these two. So that way you don't see narcissists and cluster B personality types everywhere you go. Sometimes we have to just be a little bit more conscious to the relationships we're having, because a lot of us have relationships unconsciously. I know I did. I try to be a little bit more conscious about it now, but a lot of us usually have relationships that are, we are having relationships unconsciously. And when we go out and choose partners, we're usually unconscious when we choose our partners, our lifelong partners. And sometimes they tend to hurt us the most. Okay, because again, we're not clearing the energy from our previous relationships. We can go all the way back to our childhood. Those relationships, we accumulate the energy transference I was talking about. We are accumulating energy from those relationships. And here we are 30 years in, we have all of these layers of trauma, PTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I've done a few videos about those. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but that's reflective of trauma. Signs of PTSD, reflective of trauma. See, a lot of the times when we have symptoms of PTSD, is because we have experienced someone who really wants to do us harm. That's why we have symptoms of complex PTSD, because we have had many people in our lives, starting with our childhoods, that we should have been able to trust, but they wanted to do us harm. And that was an imprint on our bodies. So this is why I say we want to escape a painful body. So our spirits get connected to the circumstance, because we are escaping our bodies. And when we choose to escape our bodies, the narcissists, they can take control. They can pull shenanigans. They can press those buttons, and we're reactionary. Okay, so they're looking to escape as well. But the bottom line is this: the narcissistic codependent relationships are very addictive. Okay, and sometimes some of us, we can end up obsessed, okay, over the narcissist, if not the relationship. So this also sets us up for having another narcissistic codependent relationship, because we are still obsessed from the last one. Some of you may be asking, well, how can you be obsessed with the last person, but you have somebody else? Well, just think about it. The energy flows. Energy must move. So the next person you end up with, just think about this for a minute. In the comment section, in the chat section, you all can chime in. Let me know if this is true, or if this has been true for you or not. I know for me it has. Because you're still connected, or you haven't released that energy from the last relationship, the next person you get with reminds you of the last person you was with. Tell me if I'm lying. That's why. Because energy, you still embody that energy from your last relationship. Energy transference. That person's essence and your essence, they intermingle. They rub off on each other. Not trying to sound explicit, But that's where energy transference comes in. It's involuntary. So when you don't clear that energy that was accrued from the last relationship, you go right into another relationship that's with a narcissist. And they remind you of your last narcissist. Tell me if I'm lying. Okay? I know this has happened with me at least once. Okay? So it's very important to learn from relationships. Okay, so this way you can start to see your relationships improving before you know it, because you have the energy that will attract people who will love you and care for you, right? It's important to have that energy. Your spirit can be connected to that person's spirit. And this is a good thing. You're choosing to connect. You're choosing to be present in that relationship. It feels good. It is good for you. You're not in a narcissistic codependent relationship anymore because, first of all, you have identified having a habit of being in these types of relationships. It's a habit. It's a habit. Okay, so when we are choosing to connect and be present in our relationship, we can grow with that person. Okay, we can grow. But this is what's going to help us to break that pattern. And that is to learn from each relationship we've had. Sometimes we got to go all the way back to our childhood. And we got to learn to, we got to look at some of those things and reflect. Now, this is not to repeat your past. This is just use your past as a reference guide only. Don't use your past, and we becoming nostalgic and we back in our past again, and we having some of these suckers back in our life, these jokers back in our life who not treating us well because we're nostalgic and we want to experience the good old days again. Okay, so this is something that's very common when we have experienced narcissistic codependent relationships. And the other thing I want to say about that is when we're experiencing narcissistic codependent relationships, we're dealing with two different components that are comprised of energy. So when we're holding on to that energy, again, this helps us. I don't want to say like help, but it sets us up to attract more people who are predatory in nature. And they remind us of the narcissist and cluster B personality types from our past. Energy flows. It has to move. Stagnated energy keeps you stuck in a sunken place and you're under arrested development. This is what's true for the narcissist. They're under arrested development. They seem to be childlike. They don't seem to be learning. They're not open to learn. They don't even want to learn how to have positive relationships with anyone. Okay? But sometimes we think we're the ones that's being targeted only. Yeah, narcissists don't choose people. They target people. Plain and simple. So if you're telling yourself that a particular narcissist is your soulmate or your twin flame, right? And you're like, oh, we're destined to be together. Well, I'm not trying to say that you should say that they're not your twin flame and they're not your soulmate, because I can't determine that. What I will say, or what I would like to suggest, is to ask those critical questions. What is the purpose of the relationship? Because when you answer that question, another thing that it does is it opens your eyes up to how you tend to do relationships. We all have a personal definition. Getting tongue-tied. Okay, let the brain juices flow. All right. Anyway, we get caught up in these relationships. Okay, so I don't want to get too off track here. Because I do tend. Let me check my time. Okay. All right, going into an hour here. Okay, so this is what sets us up to repeat narcissistic codependent relationships. Like I said, we're dealing with two dynamics, codependency and narcissism. These are comprised of energy as well. So everything we do and say is comprised of energy. And when we hold on to that energy, right, it determines what type of people we're going to attract in our life. We're thinking and we're feeling and we're desiring, right, to have better relationships. But how come it's not happening? Well, just as I stated, valuable lessons weren't learned. We missed out on a few things, right? Secondly, we are embodying that energy. So this is what's going to attract certain types of people to us, even though we think and feel we want differently. So we're wandering around with all these desires. We're unfulfilled because we don't have these relationships that we really want. We keep attracting the people we don't want. Well, the energy. It's all about the energy, frequency, and vibration. What vibration are you on? What dial do you turn your frequency onto? Well, somebody else, when they turn their dial, they can get you. That's another way of looking at it. When we go to our radio and we turn in the dial, we turn the frequency. We go into the station we want to park at, what we want to listen in on, what we want to tune in on. So when we stop that dial, it's because we're stopped. It's just picture like you're traveling and you're going to a rest stop. You park there, you stay there for a while, you take in the environment. So when we're on the frequency, we turn in the dial, right? The narcissist can be turning the dial, and why do they stop on our station? That's just something to think about. Out of all the stations that they can stop and tune in, why do they stop on yours? When they turn that frequency dial, why do they stop at yours? Because you're a vibrational match, and your energy is what they can plug into. I hope that makes sense. So the energy that you embody will keep certain people, coming your way, even though you feel you want something different. Well, if you are a vibrational match, that's because it's something that you're missing. Okay. So, all right. So seeking out the contrast, I went over that. Okay. So let's go on to, okay. All right. What's energy got to do with it? I think I kind of covered that. We are comprised of energy. Okay. And we get to choose who, what, and where our spirit connects to. So again, it's not just about the people, it's about the things, it's about the places. So our spirits, when we choose to connect to certain places, picture going to your parents' house. If they're narcissistic, you go to their house. There's some bad memories at their house. So this is a place that you can choose for your spirit to be connected to. And it hurts. It's painful. There are a lot of memories at your parents' house that, again, even though it's been 50 years, it's been 40 years, it's been 20, it's been 10, it's been 5, you're still connected. It still hurts. So whenever you go into that environment, you may experience triggers. So when you choose to have your spirit connected to that place, yeah, it can affect you. But the choice is yours. All right. So I talked about how we choose to have our spirits connected to our circumstances. So that's the thing. But the person is the narcissist or the cosmic personality type or several of them. You can choose to continue to have your spirit connect to them. And they can connect to you. Their spirits could connect to you. It's not one-sided here. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm blaming you all or I'm picking on you all. Okay. I've been through this stuff myself. But I'm just sharing this information with you because this is something that has helped me to make sure I don't continue to repeat that pattern of investing in relationships that don't nourish me. It don't help me to get up to the next level. It's keeping me flatlined. It's keeping me in the sunken place, right? So we don't want to do that. Every word and action has energy behind it. The energy transference accrued during narcissistic codependent relationships flow into other relationships. Okay, so I went over that. Energy flows from body to body, from person to person, in other words, from thing to thing, from person to thing, from person to place, from place to place. You can switch it up, right? It's people, places, and things. Energy, frequency, and vibration. These are the 6 components I would like everyone to concentrate on today. Frequency, vibration, and energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, people, places, and things, because they can interwove. All right, so when you're out here, you're doing your thing, You're being beautiful, you're being fine, you're celebrating yourself. Guess what? You're going to attract people that's going to match that vibration. I hope that makes sense. So if you're loving yourself, taking care of yourself, right? You're knowing yourself, you're going to attract people who are going to want to know you for the right reasons. You're going to attract people, places, and things that will be in your line of sight. Wherever you're feeling on the inside, you're going to see it. It's going to manifest in your life. So remember I was talking about answering the question of what is the purpose of the relationship with the narcissist and cluster B personality type. Okay, you're looking at what you want to manifest in your life. If that narcissistic codependent relationship has not manifested your intentions, right? It's time to ask another question. Okay, so I'm gonna just keep it right there. I'm gonna stop right there with that. But when we choose to look at what we want to manifest, it will manifest in our life because we're gonna put some energy behind it. We're gonna focus on that. Okay, so when we go out in this world, we're doing everything, we're doing our thing. If we are unconscious, guess what? We're going to attract people who are unconscious. They're going to give us more than enough reason to stay unconscious, or the body will hurt. The body the body remembers. The body will remember things that we consciously attempt to escape: smoking, drinking, having sex with people that we know ain't got no business getting it in with. But it just feels so good. Anyway, that's another video. Maybe I won't do a video about that. But anyway, you all get the message here, I hope. But this is whatever we're choosing to focus on, it will grow in our life. It will manifest, right? So again, when we are taking care of ourselves, will attract people who will want to take care of us in a very good way, in a very positive way. They're going to fill your cup up instead of empty your cup. Narcissists and cluster B personality types tend to empty your cup. They want you to fill their cup. Okay? So we will attract people. When we fill our own cups, when we concentrate on that, we will attract people and they will manifest into our life and they will match your vibration. They will match. Okay, they will die. When they turn the frequency down, they will stop at your station. I hope that makes sense. But we hold on to the energy from dysfunctional relationships that will attract people of the same caliber, reflecting the vibration that we are functioning on. Okay, so I hope I've summed that up pretty well for you all. But again, get your questions ready because I'm about to join you all in the chat room. I'm wrapping up this part of the stream here. Okay, tools. Learn how to release and channel energy. Okay, so are you ready to take chances? Are you ready to face that you're the one that's changing? Don't waste time and energy trying to change your narcissist. They stuck. They up under arrested development. They're getting out of that relationship what they want to get out of. What about you? Right? Are you channeling your own energy? See, narcissists, they cannot take your energy. They can pull from it, but they can't take it. They have energy, you have energy. We are all comprised of energy. Energy, frequency, and vibration. That's what it's all about. People, places, and things, they interwove. Okay, they do. Okay, so if you are taking time out to channel your own energy, that's just another way of breaking down what I just said previously. And that is when you go out into the world and you being fine and you're doing your thing, you're going to attract people that's on your vibration. You're going to attract people who will also treat you like you're the finest thing they've ever seen. You're going to attract people who want to love on you, to care about you. They're not around you to extract from you like the narcissist is. See, that's when you're going to have that contrast. Who are the people who are helping to nourish you versus who are the people who are just extracting from you? They're predatory in nature. They're like a predacyte. And I know I just made up a word. A predacyte is one who has the nature of a predator and a parasite. Just think about it. Okay? Voila, there's your narcissist and their behavior, right? But anyway, uh, what's another thing? Tool number two. Wait a minute, let me finish that first tool. I didn't want to get ahead of myself. So when you are releasing energy that doesn't serve you, then you're less likely to repeat the scenario of investing in another narcissistic codependent relationship. Okay, so release what doesn't serve you. People, places, and things. Release what does not nourish you, what doesn't help you to get to the next level. And this is challenging because a lot of us in codependent relationships, we are encouraged and we are groomed to self-sacrifice. Everybody comes before us, right? So learn how to release the energy, people, places, and things that do not help you to get to that next level. It's not serving you. And yes, this is including the relationships that you cannot physically get away from. See, going no contact starts in the mind, not in the behind. Okay? So some of you might be like, well, I can't get moving. Well, you got this and you have this. Going no contact starts in the mind, not the heart. You can use your passions. I pointed to my heart because you can use your passions to go no contact. You can use your mind to go no contact. Your circumstances, of which you don't have to have your spirit connected to, you're in those circumstances, right? You know what's going on with you. You know what's going on. You may have children with this person. You cannot just up and leave. But going no contact starts in the mind. And a lot of you ladies out there, you know what I'm talking about. We women, we got that little something extra. When we know we're not happy in a relationship with somebody, mentally, we're gone long before we're physically gone. Ask any woman that question, and she'll tell you that's true. Okay? Going no contact starts in the mind, not necessarily the heart. Going no contact starts in the mind, not in the behind. Translation. You can go here, okay, when you can't go out there. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, channel your energy. You know, there's several ways you can channel your own energy. You can get into an emotionally tongue-tied. All right. You can get in an environment that's emotionally safe. Ding, ding, ding. I got it. Okay. Got it out. Anyway, this is how you can channel your own energy to work in your own benefit or for your own benefit. And that is you can get in an environment. What are those environments that you can get into? Do you know a beach you like to go to? A park? Do you like to go out to a nice restaurant? These places can be emotionally safe for you. In other words, you're not in any type of threat psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. You may be away from the narcissist physically for that moment. So channeling your energy is when you are able to pull from your inner self. This is when you're connecting. This is when you're choosing to have your spirit connect to your highest self, your present. And I don't mean to make it sound like spookism. So when you connect to yourself, when your spirit, when you choose your spirit to connect to yourself, this is just you're tapping into your own resources in order to self-soothe, no matter what's going on or who's going on around you. Sure, you may be in some danger, okay, but not immediate danger. In other words, down the street, somebody could have gotten into an accident. You're around in that vicinity. That may be a lower sense of danger. Okay, the narcissist is not yelling at you. You're not in an argument. So emotionally, you're in a safe environment. This is how you can channel your own energy. You can remember what you have achieved, what have you accomplished that you feel great about in life. It could be the smallest thing to the biggest thing. All right, how do you feel? How do you see yourself? Do you have a stronger sense of self? Your image of yourself. How is it? Or are you looking at yourself through the eyes of your narcissist? A lot of us do this. because we are choosing to take our spirits and connect it to the circumstances, if not to the narcissist. So therefore, we can't even see ourselves in the right light. We can't see ourselves clearly. So our self-image is very poor. We have a poor sense of self. The narcissist tells us who we are, and we believe it. When we buy into their perspective of their reality, this is how they box us in. They knock you off your square and they box you into their square. Their personal hell becomes a part of your experience that can traumatize you. It's like they have a personal hell that they have created, but they're pulling you into it. That's another way of, like, the bird box effect, right? You don't even see yourself. You're blindfolded. You don't even see yourself. All right. So when you channel your own energy, you're turning all that around. You're connecting to self. You can practice self-regulatory process, meaning if you're triggered, you are able to ground yourself. You know, your body has been triggered, and so it's going to respond as if you're being traumatized again. But in that moment, you're able to stay grounded, you're able to stay present, and you're able to self-soothe. That self-regulatory process. And it took me some practicing to get this. And every now and then, yes, we all, just like you all, I have my moments. I'm triggered by something, but I have a backup plan. One of my backup plans is the self-regulatory process. I've done some videos on those topics as well. Okay. Some of you have already seen those videos. But tool number two, reconnect to people, places, and things that reflects who you are, who you really are. Okay, so I was talking about energy, frequency, and vibration. People, places, and things, they interwove. They often interwove, and we're the great Oz behind that curtain that's orchestrating that whole thing, and we don't even know it. Okay, we're unconsciously orchestrating everything that occurs in our lives. Okay, so when you reconnect to people, places, and things that reflects who you really are, this is how you can also have that contrast in your life. Who are the people that are nourishing you versus the people who are not? The juicy oranges and the rotten apples. Rotten apples, narcissistic relationships. Juicy oranges, those relationships that are positive. You feel pretty good about, even if they're distant relationships, even if they're sporadic relationships. You may see those people every now and then, but it's a relationship. Okay, so tool number 3, build a support base designed to help you express what you have experienced. Body work can be a great tool to overcome trauma. A lot of us have been traumatized. Complex PTSD. Two sets of symptoms there. Some of those symptoms are similar, but PTSD symptoms and complex PTSD symptoms. In order to help you with that, body work. Please do some research on body work. This is helpful. Now, what's an example of body work? Massaging, acupuncture. It doesn't have to be like that, but you can go swimming. You can take a bath, take a salt bath, take a bubble bath. If you have a jacuzzi at home, and if you have a jacuzzi at home, okay, when you're going to invite a sister? Anyway, yeah. But body work is when you are helping yourself to connect to stay present in your own body. Touching. A lot of us have narcissists and cluster B personality types in our lives that a touch from them can trigger us. Because some of us have been sexually, mishandled. Some of us have been hit. Some of us have suffered physical abuse. That's trauma. And when we're talking about from childhood, that's an imprint on the body. The body remembers what we consciously attempt to forget. The body always remembers. This is why when we're triggered, our bodies start to respond as if we're being traumatized, or as if we are being attacked again, if we're being mistreated again. The initial or the event that took place that causes us trauma is our bodies will respond again as if that trauma is happening again. It could have happened 30 years ago. This is why when narcissists and cluster B personality type from our past come waltzing into the room. We ain't seen them in 10 years or 30 years or 40 years. This is why our bodies start responding. Even though we've done some work, our bodies start to respond. This is why, because our bodies are imprints. Okay, or our body has the imprint. Okay, it records everything that has happened to us. Okay, the good, the bad, the ugly. So when you build that support base, it's supposed to be designed to help you to thrive forward, to get to the next level. And that is an environment that can offer you emotional safety. Okay, because I was talking about how you can release and channel energy. Releasing energy is when you are taking the time out to express what you have experienced. You can journal. You can take a microphone and start talking about it. This is for your personal use. Okay, and if you're seeing a counselor, you can do role play. So there's various ways you can release that energy. Taking a bath can release energy. It's something that happens to our bodies when we're submerged in the water. Okay? So when you channel your own energy, that's another way you can do it. You journal. You see your thoughts out on paper, your feelings out on paper. And this is for you. When you channel your own energy, you're getting out in nature. You're doing things that you enjoy. You're not necessarily asking permission from anyone else, your narcissist or anyone else, right? So when you channel your energy, it's very powerful. Okay, you're not relying on anyone else to make you happy. You're not relying on anyone else. Okay, you invite other people, right, to join in on the party. So when you go out, for instance, when you go out in public, don't go out with the mindset that you have to make friends. You have to get something, you have to make somebody attracted to you. No, we've been groomed to think that way from narcissists because they want us to please them. Self-sacrificing. So why put all that pressure on yourself to make things happen? No. When you go out in public, have the mindset, this is what helps me, have the mindset that you're going to have fun, no matter who, no matter what, no matter where. You're out to have fun. You're out to relax, enjoy yourself. And other people, because of your energy, they will want to join you. You're attracting them because you're taking time out to release energy that don't serve you, and you're channeling your own energy. Okay, so that is part of your support base. When you go if you go to a counselor, that's a part of your support base. Make sure whatever consists of your support base, it is designed to help you to thrive forward and get to the next level. You don't want to do this, be flatline, because that's how narcissistic codependent personality type, they can find you. When they go and do what they do and say they're going to try to hoover you back in, guess where they're going to look? They're not going to look out here in the world where people are marrying, partying, living their life. They're not going to look for you there. They're going to look for you in the sunken place where they left you. So don't be there. Don't be available. And I don't mean this, this is figuratively speaking, of course. I don't mean necessarily a physical place, the sunken place. It's a state of being. So they're going to look for you there. They're not going to, just picture a dog sniffing around on the ground. Where did they bury that bone? Where did they bury something? They're going to look for you in the sunken place. They're not going to look for you out there in the world, marrying, being happy, doing things, living your life on your own terms. That's just something to think about, right? So build that support base. Support base can consist of many different things, people and places. All right. I certainly hope this has helped you all and has been food for thought and giving you nourishment to your spirit as well as your soul. All right. Now I'm going to join you all back in the chat room. And if anyone has any questions, fire away. I'm checking my time. Okay, I can go on for a little while longer. Oshun, hello. I'm going to greet some of you all. I didn't get to greet you before. Gina, Roby, hello. Welcome to the Luminous Star channel live stream. All right. Okay, Tara says also when you are away from the narc, you can think and see things clearly. Absolutely. So it's amazing how better your body feels when you're not around him or her. But see, narcissists and cluster B personality types, they groom you to think, feel, and behave the way they want you to think, feel, and behave. It's a grooming process. And a lot of us have done some research on narcissism, and that particular thing has popped up a lot, the grooming process. But a lot of us are unconscious to that grooming process. But guess what? We're supposed to be. Not like we're supposed to be, but just think about a con artist. A great con artist will not allow you to know that you are being conned. So if I want to con somebody, I'm not going to give them the warning that I'm about to con them. So that's the same thing about the grooming process from narcissists and cluster or by narcissists and cluster personality types. You're not supposed to see it coming. Okay, so Gina Roby asks, what are your thoughts on MDR? Now, I've done a little bit of research on that, but I will tell you what I have tried a few years ago is biofeedback, which is a little bit different from MDR. It's kind of like MDR, but it's different. Whereas with the biofeedback, it helps you to stay present in your body. So when you're triggered, like if you notice your chest get tight or you have headaches, when the narcissist and cluster personality type is around and you're triggered by something they say and or do, biofeedback helps you to stay present. Now the circumstance is uncomfortable, so let's make that very clear. So what biofeedback does, it helps you to stay present, and it helps you to self-soothe. Now, this is a part of the self-regulatory processing that I was talking about. So biofeedback, I want to invite everyone to research biofeedback. It helps you to stay present when you're triggered, and it helps you to calm yourself down. So that way you're not overwhelmed by what's actually being said and or done by the narcissist and cluster B personality type, or any situation that may be upsetting for you, because you don't want to end up being in a situation whereas you're repeatedly triggered again. But you want to be able to handle that situation should it come up. We can't stop life from happening. Things, like they say, shit happens, right? It's going to happen. So with the EMDR, I've done a little bit of research on that, but that is not one that I've tried. Now, I've tried the biofeedback, and that has helped me out tremendously. All right, so thank you so much for the question. But the biofeedback, it does help you to stay focused on, so you can continue to thrive forward. So no matter what the narcissist says or does, and maybe you can't get out of that situation physically, but you sure as hell can help yourself at that moment to stay focused. So that way they don't take control. They're not knocking you off your square. You're on your square. And narcissists and cluster personality types, of course, they detest that. They want to get you knocked off of your square so they can box you into their square. In other words, their personal hell. They want to make you pay for everything they have done, the things that they don't like, the secret contracts, and imaginary contracts that they have drawn up. They want you to fulfill those terms. Why should you do that? It's their contract. Contract, translation, non-human entities. So narcissists and cluster B personality types, they usually have a lot of those, but they're not going to tell us that. They usually make a secret vow. This is how they detach from themselves. Now, I was talking about the spirit being attached or connected to circumstances. Now, the flip side of that is when narcissists and cluster B personality types, they have chosen, and we don't know about this, they do it in secret. They have chosen to detach from their higher self. This keeps them under arrested development. They're not open to learning how to connect to other people. They're not open to it. Sometimes they may feel guilty about stuff that they do. Okay, they usually have a guilty complex not a guilty conscience. The guilty conscience means the person has to have a conscience first. But a lot of narcissists don't have a conscience, so they have a guilty complex. That means that they feel some guilt, but not guilt enough to admit and to take full responsibility for what they have done in the relationship to hurt other people. So I lost my train of thought. But anyway, I think you all get the picture here. Okay. How do you, let's see, Oshun, how do you cooperate? How do you co-parenting without being affected by shenanigans? Well, yeah, there you go. See, you can't control the other. Great question, Oshun, but you can't control what the other person does. You can't control how they feel. You can't even control what they perceive, really. We can inspire and we can influence one another, but really when it comes down to it, how much can we really control one another? We all have freedom to choose, right? So when we start to look at what makes us happy, so instead of trying to please them, instead of trying to figure out how to get them to do what you want them to do, flip that around. What do you want to do? Of course, constructively, because if you have little ones you have to take care of, yes, you got to be, you got to be available to them. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to co-parent or how to parent. But here's the bottom line. Whatever the narcissist and cluster B personality does, says, or feels, we can't control that. So you have to control what you do, say, think, and feel. Your children are watching, or your child is watching. So when we educate our children on how to deal with cluster B personality types, that is a game changer. That's checkmate. Because some of us are dealing with narcissists and cluster B personality types who will use the children as pawns against the other parent. Okay, I do have a couple of family members in my family that have gone through that. They're co-parenting with somebody, and the other parent, they talking in the children's ear, don't trust daddy, don't trust mommy. And let me tell you why. Guess what? When you choose to educate your children about narcissism, that is golden. Don't tell them how bad the other parent is, because they're going to hang themselves. They're going to sentence themselves. They're going to convince their children how bad they are simply by the way they behave. When you teach your children about narcissism, again, that's golden. You're not wasting time and energy trying to convince your children or your child how bad the other parent is. They're going to see it. They're going to, as time goes on, they're going to see it because you're educating them about narcissism. See how that works? It's like, again, it's golden. Let's see, Envy, welcome to the channel. I missed you had a, let's see, let me go back up. Envy. Where is it? Okay, there something Envy said that I think is brilliant. Think of them as a kid with a weapon. Looks funny, but very dangerous. Not a laughing matter. Right. And I love you said that. Thank you so much for joining this live stream, and thank you for that comment. Think of them as a kid with a weapon. Right. Narcissists and cluster B personality types are usually overgrown children. Some of them are spoiled rotten when they were actually children. This is where they get their strong sense of entitlement. Some of them are still that child who's spoiled rotten. And some of us women, and this is for the ladies real quick. Some of us women who have been involved with cluster B personality types, we may sometimes feel like, we've carried them in our wombs for 9 months. You're looking at this big joker, like, when have I carried you in my womb for 9 months? Right? When did that happen? I must have been asleep during that. But a lot of cluster B personality types, they tend to be overgrown children. And we find that sometimes we're parenting them, just like some of us have parented our own parents who are cluster B personality types. Here it is again. We're repeating that scenario. We're with a partner who reminds us of our parents, right? But anyway, some of us who are married to cluster B personality types, their parents reminds us of our parents if they were cluster B personality types. One of them may have been a covert narcissist. The other one may have been a overt narcissist. One of them may be codependent, the other one has a cluster B personality type, or they both have cluster B personality types. One, they're on opposite sides of the same spectrum. The spectrum is codependency. So your parents may have been one being an overt or a covert narcissist, the other one being codependent. Okay, so it's very interesting how this happens. But when we are married to a cluster B personality type, what's very interesting is that their parents mirror your parents. So the in-laws can have a very strange way of being familiar to us. And we're still playing the same role that we played when we were children, whether that was scapegoat, golden child. I'm going to flip that around to the golden child. So if a golden child that comes from a narcissistic family is married to someone who's codependent, guess what? Their in-laws, the cluster B personality types in-laws, will remind him or her of their parents, and they will continue to play the role of golden child in their marriage. Flip that around. If you were the one that was the scapegoat in your family and you marry a cluster B personality type, their parents will treat you like the scapegoat that you were when you were a child in your family. In-laws mirror our parents. Just think about that. They do. This is also why we end up marrying sometimes our parent or our parents. This thing is pretty deep. Oh, okay. Laura Parks says, my mom married at 17. She's still 17 at 80 years old. 3 siblings, same way. Yeah, Laura brings up a great point here. This is also why I was talking about how they stay under arrested development, and they choose that. They choose it. Narcissists and cluster B personality types, they often choose not to learn. Okay, they lack the foresight. They lack that. They don't want to learn how to be better. They just want that supply. That's it. The supply is everything to them. And some of them, they will even destroy themselves if they know that they can destroy somebody else. See, a lot of narcissists and cluster B personality types, they can be quite sadistic in their behavior. If they know they can get away with something, they're going to do it. I mean, they're going to do it anyway. But the icing on the cake or the cherry on top for them can be if they know they're going to suffer some type of negativity, they're gonna be destroyed, and if they can see it's pretty much a guarantee they can take you down with them, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do it. Some of them will anyway. I'm loving these comments. Questions. Tara says the family doesn't know that side of her. What are we talking about here? I am the scapegoat, my hubby the golden. Yeah. Gina says, I am the scapegoat, my hubby, the goat. All right, and Tara says, the family doesn't know that side of her. Envy says, spoiled. Yeah, because a lot of narcissists and cluster B personality types, they are spoiled rotten when they are children. Okay, they're spoiled rotten. That's another way to mistreat a child, believe it or not. We talk about, narcissistic abuse. Some children are suffering narcissistic abuse within their families. Another way to mistreat a child is to spoil them rotten. 2 key words: spoiled rotten. Okay, sometimes we don't look at it that way, but that's another way to develop a golden child. Spoil them rotten. Sometimes the roles interchange between the golden child and the child who is targeted to be scapegoated. Sometimes narcissists and cluster B personality type parents will spoil the child that they have chosen as a scapegoat. Sometimes they will treat the golden child with a little bit more, they will be a little bit more firm with him or her. But see, there's an angle to that. This is how siblings end up not liking each other as adults, and they don't understand why they don't get along. Because the cluster B personality types, that the parents, even the grandparents, get on this sometimes. They set the siblings up to be at odds with each other as adults, and yet nobody knows why they don't get along. It's amazing. It's very interesting too how that happens. Scroll. Okay, who is Oh, some of you have to. You may have to type in your questions again. Let's see. Okay, let's go. Looking for questions. Thank you all so much for your kind comments. And I love the participation here. This is wonderful. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a question. Laura Park says, sounds like dissociative behavior to survive it. Yeah, we have to survive before we thrive. Okay, so if this is another thing, when I'm talking about the energy that some of us, we choose to embody that energy. And of course, it is unconsciously because we're groomed to self-sacrifice sometimes. So when we embody the energy that was accrued during a negative or dysfunctional relationship, and we can include family, dysfunctional family in this, when we embody that energy and we attract more of what we don't want, yes, that's sort of like how we are dissociated from self. Okay, so what takes over? Same with your narcissist. When they detach from self, what takes over? We're all comprised of energy. So we have to have energy in order to exist. So when a person dissociates, that's just another way of detaching. Okay, and it is a survival mechanism. It's a mechanism. It's a defense mechanism sometimes. But the bottom line is when we are choosing to thrive forward, it is because we have already survived. When we hold on, when we harness her and hold on to an energy that doesn't serve us, we're stuck in survival mode. We're not thriving. We're just surviving. So we're going to attract people that's going to give us more than enough reason to survive, not thrive. When you want to start attracting people, when are you going to start allowing yourself to attract people that's going to help you thrive? Some of us, we get stuck and we're just surviving. So we attract people that's going to give us more than enough reason to think that we have to survive. Have that dog eat dog mentality. Have that black and white mentality that some of us have learned from our narcissists. So when we attract people that's going to encourage us to only survive but not thrive, we see that all around us, on the job, on the home front. These people are pulling shenanigans. They're nitpicking. They're casting shade. All these things put you in survival mode, fight mode. Oh, I'm gonna fight. I gotta protect myself. That's surviving. That's not thriving. You're coping. You're not healing. There's a difference. So yeah, that's a great point right there. Just being in survival mode, the dissociative, that is a maladaptive coping mechanism right there. That is reflective of us just surviving. We're only coping. We're not healing. We're surviving. We haven't graduated to thriving yet. See, that's how you know that you have gotten up to the next level, because now you're thriving. And don't beat yourself up about how you're thriving. Just as long as, it's positive, it's helping you. It's, you're helping other people to feel good. But see, the main aim that I've learned is that if I'm not taking time out and energy to make sure that I'm okay, then I really can't help anybody else. I really can't show up for anyone else in a relationship. So, that's just something to think about. Laura says they play mind games and make you feel guilty about things. Yep, that's part of it. That's part of yes, you're right. They do play a lot of mind games. Laura Park says, no, I'm sorry. Tara says they play mind games. Laura says they cause alcoholism and drug abuse to these psychos. Okay, now they cause alcoholism and drug abuse. Mm, my experience has reflected that narcissists or cluster B personality types. In my case, it was cluster B personality types. Not not necessarily narcissists. There's a difference. You have the different clusters. Cluster B personality types in my life, that used to be in my life, some of them did drink a lot of alcohol. Some of them were on drugs. So, if you don't mind me saying, Laura, my experience has taught me that they can definitely influence another person to take on that type of activity to cope, to survive the narcissistic codependent relationship. Yeah, they can do that because they're around you and they're doing this a lot. But when it boils down to it, especially as an adult, we have the freedom to choose whether or not we're going to cope in that way. We all have coping skills. So I will say to that there are some alcoholics, there are some those are some people who are dealing with alcoholism, and some who are drug addictions or drug addicts, right? Okay, let me get my thought together. Some cluster B personality types who have substance abuse issues. Some of them are dealing with alcoholism. Now, they can influence us negatively in our life, but believe it or not, sometimes they can influence us in a positive way. Now, some of you might be like, well, how can they do that? Well, they're showing you what not to do. Sometimes we got to look at people and they're self-destructive, and we got to say, you know what? I know what not to do. So I know in my life thus far, that has been my experience. There's not one person that I can name I've ever met that has caused me to do anything, really. When I was a child, I was subjected to hostile environments. I was subjected to negative behavior such as alcoholism and drug addiction. Yeah, I was exposed to that. So I was more, because I was more impressionable. I was a little kid. I was a little child then. Okay, but I was being subjected to stuff. So that was when I was a victim. But as an adult, I had learned that I had more freedom to choose what I could pick my poison, so to speak. But yeah, that's been my experience. I appreciate that comment, though. That's another thing about this channel. Everybody's not going to agree on everything, because all of us, at the end of the day, we have to look at, or we can choose to look at, our personal experiences with narcissism, because it's not going to always match the next person. And I love how we can learn from each other. We're all learning here. We're all encouraging each other. Laura says, I'm sober now again. Okay, congratulations. I ended up in AA, very narcissistic. Yes. Yeah, that's another. Laura brings up a great point here. She says, I ended up in AA, very narcissistic community. And she says, I'm sober now again. Congratulations, Laura. Here's another thing. Some of those places, we have places out here who are advocating or giving false advertisement, is what I meant to say. There's false advertisement with some of these communities, such as, and I'm not trying to get religious or political here, but there are some places out here in our communities that will have false advertisements that claim that they can help people who have been in narcissistic relationships. That's not always true. False advertisement. So watch out for that. Because sometimes that environment may not be very friendly. It may be hostile. I've heard some of the testimonies. Some people say they have gone to a particular church and they were asking for help, and that church turned them away. And again, this is not my aim to get all political or religious on this channel. I tend to stay away from those two topics on this channel. But yeah, some of the environments, we have to watch the environment that we're walking into. We have to investigate it. Okay, because it may not be a very emotionally safe environment. Sometimes our families are not emotionally safe to us. Take note of that. Honor yourself. Don't force yourself to go to the Christmas party. Don't force yourself to go to Thanksgiving. if that environment, you already know narcissists are going to be there waiting to make a spectacle out of you. Don't do that. And some of us have been groomed to do this. I've done this a couple of times. As soon as I got there, I did not feel good. So, that was a mistake. So I honored myself. I chose to have my spirit connected to myself instead of being connected to that circumstance when I was being triggered, All right. Checking the chat room here. Let's see. So if anybody has any questions, let's see. Gina, Roby. Let's see. Tara and Gina are talking about marriage here. So Tara says, Gina, I got married 2 years ago and moved 3 hours away. I'm so happy now, but she calls all the time. Yeah, narcissists are diehards sometimes. They will not let go. And sometimes they are already planning on hooving you back in before they actually end the relationship or before they go ghost. Sometimes narcissists and custom personality types, they already got it on the brain how they're going to try to successfully hoover you back in. And they will recruit those flying monkeys to do so. Yep, they will. Let's see. Gina says, me too. I said in therapy yesterday, I hate it, but it's the only vice I have. And then smoking. And sometimes it's not good to be so hard. It's never too good. It's never good to be too hard on the self, right? And we all have gone through this, so we have to love ourselves. We have to just take the time out to decide this is what we're going to do. What is it going to take for you to continue to thrive forward? You got to do that. So has anyone ever? I'm just curious about this. Has anyone ever gone back to their grandparents or their parents' house where they have not so good memories? Okay, it could be narcissists, their family members who are narcissists or having cluster personality types. Is there anyone here in the chat that has gone back to visit a family member and you're at their house and you're triggered? I mean, just the environment. It's not really too much what they're saying or what they're doing, but just being in that environment has triggered you. And you feel 12 years old again, or you feel 9 years old again. You feel like a child again, experiencing the whole thing. How are you all handling that? Because I know that's a big one with a lot of us. I know I have dealt with that before. Gina says, me. Laura Park says, yes. Because I think this is a big one. Gina Roby, is any else said 4 p.m.? Okay, so I'm going to jump up here. Gina Roby, she's asking a question. Gina says, is MDR safe for a PTSD when I'm also diagnosed with CPTSD? Thoughts about it, maybe causing issues. Well, some of what I want to say about PTSD is that it is a diagnosis criterion within the DSM-5. But CPTSD is not a diagnosis criterion that is currently in the GSM-5. Okay, so with the DSM-5, see, what has to happen is there has to be a diagnosis criterion in order for a mental health care practitioner to actually give you or provide you a treatment plan. If there's not a diagnosis criterion within the DSM-5, then that means technically that doctor or that mental health care practitioner cannot treat you for it. Okay, they're under Hippocratic oath. So they cannot treat for that. Now, there are other places that we can go to, like, I was talking about body work, going to get a massage or something like that. Now, there are treatment plans that are designed to help those that have PTSD and they've been diagnosed with that. But this is what's interesting. You take that same treatment plan and you apply it to a person that has complex PTSD, and it can conflict with those who have post-traumatic stress disorder. I hope that makes sense. So the diagnosis is there in the DSM-5, but it does not mean that the treatment plan will necessarily work for those of us who are dealing with symptoms of complex PTSD. It can sometimes make things a little worse. It can conflict. So you have to be a little bit creative about what treatment plans will work for you on the CPTSD side, the complex side. That's when you have to get a little bit more creative about, I'm not saying do anything illegal or something to harm yourself, but you have to do more research. You have to get a little bit, you have to put more energy into what's going to work for you on that side, because we're dealing with layers of trauma that stem from childhood. I also want to invite everyone to research, I think it's ACE. That is, let me make sure I get this right. Let's see. Adverse childhood experiences. I think that's what ACE stands for. ACE. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because a lot of people who have symptoms of PTSD, now you can research this. Don't just take my word. But from my research, I have found testimonies of people who have complex PTSD. Often during their childhood, they were raised by or around family members that have a cluster B personality type. Okay, so it's just, to me, that's not a coincidence. It's like, okay, children who face early adversity, narcissistic abuse can be deemed as an adversity that they face in childhood. So adverse childhood experiences is something I would like for you all in your spare time to look up, because you will find that a lot of those children who show signs of trauma, this is where your PTSD comes in. They have been surrounded by people in their own families who have a cluster B personality type. Okay, it's very interesting. So complex, the key word is complex. So the treatment plan will probably be also a little complex or not easy to figure out. This is why I say you got to get a little bit creative about that. But if you were, since you were diagnosed with PTSD, there's a treatment plan for that. You can follow that. The only thing is you might have to switch. You have to tweak some things. But of course, get with your primary healthcare professional. Get with your mental health care practitioner, your counselor, and go over this. But they're not going to have a treatment plan for complex PTSD unless they specialize in trauma. You want to look at somebody who specializes in trauma for the complex PTSD. Now, for the PTSD, they have a treatment plan for that. You can follow it, but just be mindful that treatment for complex PTSD, that's going to be something you're going to have to look into a little bit more. Okay, you're going to have to do that part of it. You're going to have to do the leg work on that. All right, so, mental health care practitioners, they have to adhere to the Hippocratic oath. All right, so they're not going to be able to treat, really, they're not going to be able to treat anything that's not in the DSM-5 as a diagnosis criteria. So that's the only thing about it. That treatment plan for the complex, the treatment plan for the PTSD may conflict with what you need to do to help you with the complex PTSD symptoms. Okay, so I know I was a little long-winded about that, but yeah, that's another way to look at it. I'm doing some more research right now on complex PTSD and treatment plans, or if there are treatment plans. But I will say this, it seems like there are more and more mental health care practitioners who are learning a little bit more about the effects of trauma in that regard, the layers of trauma, the complex. Again, the key word is complex. So this is not going to be something that's probably going to happen overnight, whereas mental health care practitioners are able to treat for that. But from my knowledge, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong, From my knowledge, right now, from what I've researched, there's not a diagnosis criterion in the DSM-5 for complex PTSD. So technically, a counselor cannot diagnose that. Now, again, correct me if I'm wrong. And right now, I am doing research on complex PTSD. Let's see. I'm glad you brought that up, by the way. That's great. Hi, Armand. Or is it, no, not Armand. Armand. I'm sorry, I'm calling you Armand. Welcome to the Luminous Star channel. Welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad that I'm helpful to you. This channel here, I'm happy to hear that this is a great resource for a lot of you. Armand. Armand, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? Where are you from? And always, sometimes I'm going to start asking those questions to find out where you all are from. Okay, now Ellie says that is horrible. CPTSD is not included. Yeah, it is not. Again, I've been doing some research on it, and Ellie right now, to my knowledge, is not even a diagnosis criterion for that. Therefore, there's not a treatment plan for that. Again, you can go to a counselor. Anyone can go to a counselor, and they're dealing with narcissistic, abuse, and they may have symptoms of complex PTSD. I want to say something else about that. Your mental health care practitioner may be able to recognize complex PTSD symptoms. Just because they cannot diagnose it doesn't mean that they cannot recognize it, because they may have somebody in their life personally who is going through it. They cannot treat it though. That's the thing. They may recognize the symptoms. Now you can go online and you can find what those symptoms are, because some of those symptoms are similar to PTSD. But the thing about it is, because it's not a diagnosis criterion in the DSM-5, even though your counselor may detect, they may be able to recognize CPT, the complex post-traumatic stress, they cannot treat it for that reason alone, because of the Hippocratic oath that they have taken. Okay, they have to adhere to that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe sometime in the future that will change. There will be actually a treatment plan for complex PTSD, because we're talking about layers and layers of trauma here. It's almost like, you can picture energies. It's almost like a person can be buried underneath the energies of toxic people. I hate to make it that graphic, but it's almost like that. It's like, all those toxic and negative people maybe you were dealing with since your childhood, they have energy, you have energy, and it's almost like your energy is blocked. Like I was talking about the bird box effects, boxing in, they're knocking you off your square, you're boxing to theirs. It's almost like those energies are buried over top of your energy, and you have to fight and try to come up out of that. How are you going to not be buried underneath other people's energies that are not serving you? That's just another way that I look at it. I hate to be that graphic about it, but that's the picture that comes in my mind when somebody has been dealing with symptoms of complex PTSD for a while. You're talking about layers and layers of trauma. And I don't mean to make it sound like it's impossible to overcome this, because it's not. Okay, so let's just get that out of our minds. Okay, it's a process. Your healing process, your thriving forward is not a contest. Everyone must pace themselves. Okay, so we can't be looking around at everybody and say, oh, they're getting further than I am. Well, maybe because they've been doing some work. I'm not saying that you're not doing any work, but maybe they've been doing something else in their regimen, their work, their healing regimen that has helped them to get a little bit further in their life. Now, remember, we're all unique. When it comes down to a treatment plan, a healing formula, It is not a one size fits all. It's not only not a contest, but it's not a one size fits all. My formula may not work for you. Your formula may not work for me. Okay, so that's just that's just another way to look at it. When it comes to complex PTSD, sometimes I just I picture those layers and layers of trauma. There's layers, right? And those energies. Each layer is an energy. It could be somebody from your past that has treated you horribly. Layer, an energy layer. Someone else treated you poorly in your past. Another energy layer. And there you are underneath all of that. And you got to learn how to remove all of that. You got to learn how to come up out of that. It's something else. And some of us are afraid to just start over. Oh, I'm too old to start over. Or I'm too this, or I can't start over. Well, one of the things that I used to do, and this was a mistake that I made, but it's because I was groomed to do this. And that is when I was talking about claiming what's not mine and claiming who I'm not. This goes right into that. When I started claiming the role or the dysfunctional role that I used to play, that I was groomed to play within groups that I was involved in or I was a part of. That group can be your family. If you were groomed to play a dysfunctional role, then that's going to spread out to all of your other relationships. On the job, you may be that person who has earned the promotion, but you're not getting promoted. You want that raise. You're afraid to ask for that raise. You're playing a dysfunctional role that you were groomed by your narcissist to play. So there it is on the home front, and there it is in your marriage, and there it is on the job site. You're playing the same dysfunctional roles over and over again. And I used to make that mistake. I used to downplay myself. I sold myself short. I used to work in Washington, D.C., various offices in Washington, D.C. I used to work in. You're talking about some different personalities. I had to learn how to roll with the punches. And I did it pretty well for a while until I realized, and I was diagnosed with PTSD. Okay, so I don't talk about this a lot. In a few of my videos, I did bring this up. But dealing with various types of personalities that can clash with yours, that sometimes can be another layer of trauma. And I used to have to deal with various types of personalities, not only in the civilian world, working in Washington, D.C., but my military career, of which I did for 8 years. Military career, dealing with various types of people all the time. And my first civilian job when I got out of the military was at the Pentagon in Northern Virginia. Most people like to say it's in D.C., but Northern Virginia. And I was dealing with, so that continued for me, just dealing with different types of people all the time. And I have to say, really, I enjoyed it. But the part of it I didn't enjoy was the different personality types that were very difficult, having energies that were very unflinching, just didn't give a lot. They were very hard to deal with. And this is something we all have to deal with in life. We all don't like to deal with an unyielding energy, but we have to learn how to deal with it. Some people know how to move in a room of vultures very well, but some of us, we need to take a little time out and get a refresher course, or we have to learn how to move around or maneuver in a room full of vultures. We're not going to change the nature of the vulture. We're not going to change the nature of a lion. We're not going to change the nature of a wild dog or a wolf. You got to learn how to maneuver. But a person who has layers of trauma, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him or her to do that. They can do it, but it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to do that because they have been groomed to self-sacrifice, to attract those of a predatory nature, or those who show themselves to be a predator, have the nature of a predacyte. Like I said, I made up that word, but somebody who has the nature of a predator and the nature of a parasite all in one. Okay, so you're not on one side, you're being exploited, and on the other side, you're being energetically drained. Okay, so that's a predacyte. All right, I'm gonna stop trying to make up words here, but Yeah. Ooh, just checking out the chat room again before I go. I'm going to wrap this up now. I think we've been going on for about 2 hours. I was saying I'm going to try not to go for some 4 hours today, but I really enjoy my time with you all. And Laura says, great word. Yeah, predicite. That's a t-shirt right there, right? Every time your narcissist come around, put that t-shirt on. And have your no access cards ready. I know I did a video on that a long time ago, having a no access card. This holiday season, present no access cards to all narcissists that you know. See how they're like that, because they looking for us to spend that money having lavish gifts and all this kind of stuff, right? We're stressed out about what to do for them. We'll give them a no access card and smile. See how much they like that. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Yes, it's 11 East Coast time. I really enjoyed this. And I want to thank all of you for being patient with me. I know it's been a while, and I know Ellie can really attest to this. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. So there's been a few other things that I've been working on. And there's some things that I want to, I don't want to speak it out too much, but there are some ideas that I have for this channel. And I'm looking at it because I've been keeping this channel active for a little while now. I think about maybe 3 or 4 years. But yeah, there have been a couple of people that I have reached out to for interviews, and I may not go on live with them, but definitely doing interviews with them and then posting it as a video on our channel is something that I'm thinking about doing. Now, there's one person that I've reached out to already, and I think she's fantastic. I think she's doing great work, and I don't want to tell y'all who it is yet because I don't want to say who it is, and then for some reason they can't do the interview. So, but I will let you all know this. There's somebody that I've reached out to already, and I think they will be a great person to talk to, because they talk about narcissism, and I just think she's fantastic. I think she does great work. Now, there's another person that's also doing this topic, and that is Quinn Holiday. He has Ask Direct on YouTube. I think he's on Facebook too, but he's another person that I think will be a great person to talk to. But I don't know. He may not want to come on this channel because maybe, just maybe, I don't know yet, but maybe, just maybe, he doesn't have the time. And for that reason, that's maybe why he may not have the time to call. That's what I meant to say. Maybe he doesn't have time to do the interview. But yeah, this is another thing about doing a YouTube channel. You have to kind of be mindful of who you're going to interview. And there are some people who have reached out to me for an interview. And some of those I declined because they don't really speak to what I'm speaking on. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. It's like, you just get that feeling. You're like, I don't know. And then really it's more than a feeling. It's more or less like just looking at the reality. Are they talking about what I'm talking about? Are they coming from the same angle or perspective that I'm coming from? And even if they're not, can they add to the message, the overall message that I have on this channel? Okay, which is everyone who deals with narcissism is not a professional expert. Okay, we're not all doctors here. A lot of us who have been dealing with narcissistic codependent relationships, yeah, we're speaking from experience. Okay, maybe we don't have a degree behind our name, right? But this is what I'm looking out for. There have been some people who reached out to me for an interview, and there are some people that I have my eye on. So I just want you all to know that at least I'm doing that. And there have been a few of you who have been inquiring. You've been emailing me, and you have been inquiring about a book. So I know there are ways to do ebooks and audio books. So just letting you all know, just giving you a little snapshot, giving you a little peek of some of the things that I'm looking at right now. Okay. So this has been so fun. And Ellie says, love Aster. Yeah, I think he's doing great work. Um, there are a few other people. Lisa A. Romano, I think she's also doing great work. Um, PR. Hi, PR. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. PR here. I'm excited. I love this channel too. Well, thank you very much. I am so happy to be of service to all of you. Stacy Jackson, thank you for your help of spreading knowledge. Yes, you're welcome, Stacy. Yeah. Okay, now, yeah, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. I really enjoyed this, and stay tuned for more vlogs. Stay tuned for more videos. And I didn't see anything here that you all may want me to talk about, but of course, every week there are new videos that's coming out on the channel, and I want you all to continue to take care of yourself. Matter of fact, later on today, I'm going to be taking a drive out to a particular library. Now, see, that's one of my things. I love going to libraries. I love it. And maybe because I'm a Libra, that's my zodiac sign. I just thought I would volunteer that information. The library, my zodiac sign starts with the word library, right? But anyway, I love going to different places I haven't gone to before. So later today, I'm going to be going to the, not the Library of Congress. I've been to the Library of Congress, but there's a library in the Richmond area that I want to go to. And sometimes I like to go there and do research. So I'll be doing that later today. Time for Trump says no access card. That's right. No access card. Just start passing those out. Matter of fact, maybe I should literally have as a brand the no access card or the no access card T-shirts. I don't know. What do you all think? Yeah. Thank you guys and gals so much for joining me today. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to sign out. And again, I'm not seeing any. Now, if you all have any suggestions for anything you want me to do videos on, leave it in the description box, not the description box, but the comments. Maybe some of you will come back and watch this again later. You comment on the video. Just let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. But I usually try to cover just about everything pertaining to narcissism. Laura Pop says mother wound. If that's what you want me to talk a little bit more about, I think, Laura, that's what you're suggesting. Okay, that's great. I can do some more videos on that. Now, I've done several videos about that, but yeah, sure, I can do some more videos about mother, because I know usually around Mother's Day for some of us that can be triggering for us, and usually around that time is when I like to do the videos on daughters who have moms who have cluster B personality types, such as a narcissistic personality. But I will do that. Okay, I'll do some more videos on that. And I also like to do videos on fathers who have cluster B personality types too. A few months ago, I did a couple of videos about the fathers who have cluster B personality types. So great suggestion. I will look into that. Ellie Wynn says, spray that parasite away. Yeah. I did some videos about the narcissistic, how to keep them at bay. The narcissistic, what did I say? Help me out, Ellie. There was a video that I did about the repellent. Yeah, the narcissistic repellent. Yeah, because I remember Ellie giving me some comments on that. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for that suggestion. I need all the help. Yeah, Gina says, thanks for the help. Suggestion. Yeah, the narcissist repellent. That's right, Ellie. That's right. Now I'm going to be, let's see, today is the 29th. So we're around the end of the month. I don't want to give you all any dates on the next live stream, but I'm going to try to not wait so long. to do the live stream. But of course, like I said, the videos will be up and running every week. Okay? Tara says, I like when you show narcs in movies. Yeah. Now, Tara, I had to watch that because YouTube, the copyright thing. So I had to kind of slack on that a little bit. But as far as like documentaries, this is something else that I was thinking about. Now, I love some of the work that some of these YouTubers are doing. They're actually creating documentaries about narcissism. Now, this is something that I think is exciting. Now, when I show the movie clips and some of my videos, yeah, it is to bring about a particular point or particular points that I'm trying to, or I would like to make about narcissism, something that I think a lot of people can relate to. So this is where that idea came up, where I came up with that idea, is to start showing particular movie scenes in some of my videos. But I had to slack on that a little bit because of copyright issues. Yeah, so even though I was very careful to make sure that I didn't put any movie clips in there and did not let everybody know that there's, copyrighted material. So I had to watch that. I didn't want to get a strike against my channel from YouTube. So Gina says, we need to get our own little Luminous Star support group online. You know what? I was keeping abreast of what's going on with Facebook, because I thought about starting a Facebook group, right? But right now, I'm just kind of, I'm just looking at some things, because right now, Zuckerberg, he was just, on the news. He was, dealing with a few things there. And this is nothing against Zuckerberg or Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Facebook. Nothing against him personally. It's just that particular social media platform, I did have an account there, and I decided to stop doing that for a while. Okay, so this is something that it can definitely be considered, starting a support group, a Luminous Star support group online. Now, it doesn't have to be Facebook, but recently I started looking at Facebook again. All right, so I will let everyone know, of course, if I'm going to do that. If it's not going to be Facebook, it may be another social media platform. But I like that, Gina. This is something that's been in the back of my brain for a little while too. Okay, so Gina says, I have no social media and would love to talk with all these people from today. You know what? The other thing, if you look in my description box below, this is to everybody, not just Gina. This is just a special, announcement to everyone. But I think a lot of you already know this, but I'm going to give you a friendly reminder. And that is, if you go down to the description box below, just about every one of my videos, you will find a link, whereas you can chat with me one-on-one. Now, I have different options there. We can talk on the phone, or we can do like a Skype. Okay, but it can be just you and I, or we can have some other people join, like a what is it called? The Google Hangouts. This is something that we can start doing if you all would like that. Now, I have spoken to quite a bit of my subscribers, which I like to call my stars. I have spoken to a lot of you one-on-one. Okay, so this is another thing that has been inspiring me to keep this channel going, because I'm learning so much from you all. All right, so I just want to put that out there. That is an option. That we can speak one-on-one. I do consultations. I do that. I do one-on-ones, and I like to say that I've been very successful with that, because some of you have reached out to me. Now, there's also email. I have gone back and forth with some of you via email. But just if you want to speak to me one-on-one, or what have you, just check the description box below and go there. Just scroll down, and you will see a link. It's called Appear In, and you will see Luminous Star Appear In, and that works like a Skype. Now, I do have a phone number that I think I'm going to start posting up when I do live stream. So some of you can start calling in during the live stream. If that's something you all would like to do, just let me know if that's something that you would like to start doing. So this way I can hear your lovely voices over the line, you know. So I do have just recently I did get a phone number for that purpose. I haven't executed yet, but I just recently got that phone number. Say, okay, this is a phone number I can use that people can call in. You all can call in and we can talk online. And we can let that be the whole live stream or at least half of it. Okay. All right. Laura likes that idea. Stacy Jackson said either Armand is from LA or Cali. Okay, well, Armand, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Armand is from California. Okay. Like I said, I've been out there a few times and I like the vibe from California. I like the West Coast vibe, even though I'm an East Coast girl, but I do like, I like the vibe out there. And when my first visit out there, I was embraced and I love that. You know, I actually made a few friends out there. Just my first visit. It's like, wow, okay. This is wonderful. All right. Just checking again. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. Till next time, all of you take care of yourself. And wherever you may be right at this moment, remember those 6 components that I was talking about: energy, frequency, and vibration, people, places, and things. They interwove. Okay, and this is how we know what are we manifesting in our life. Okay, what is your intention? What do you want to manifest? Okay, so and try not to focus so much on the narcissist and the cluster B personality type and how they are influencing you to feel. I know it's tough sometimes. I used to live with cluster B personality types, so I have that experience too. It is very challenging to stay focused on what you need to stay focused on in order to thrive forward. Remember, you have to survive in order to thrive. There's never the other way around. You're not going to thrive first and then just, you got to look at it like in levels. You're surviving first and then you're thriving. So don't be so hard on yourself. All right? All right. So until next time, you all take care of yourself. Mwah.